to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand by. Colors, march.
You may be seated.
Take seat.
I'd now like to bring Jordan McClendon from the Oxford Fire Department to lead us in today's prayer.
If you would bow with me. Lord, we love you and praise you, and we just thank you for this day. Just thank you for this class. Thank you for the 7 weeks that we've been here, Lord. I thank you for every instructor that invested their time into us, and I thank you for all the family that came out to support us. But, Father, we're here. Everybody in this room is only here because of you, Lord. So we just thank you for Jesus today, and we just thank you for this graduation. We just pray that things will go well, and just keep people safe as they travel home in the weather. And, Lord, we just thank you for the class of 202, and we just thank you for getting us through these 7 weeks. We love you and praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Good morning. You know, it is a beautiful day, although it's raining outside. It's a beautiful day inside here. It's a beautiful day to have a graduation for 23 of the best graduates we've had. I just can't tell you, every class is the best class we've ever had at the State Fire Academy. Class 202, congratulations to each of you. I am State Fire Marshal and Insurance Commissioner Mike Cheney. The State Fire Academy is a division of the Department of Insurance, if you're wondering why the Commissioner of Insurance happens to be here. But this is my passion. I truly love what we do in training folks. The intensive 7-week course has it all covered online, classroom, hands-on instruction in the area of behavioral, fire suppression, that means putting a fire out, rescue, incident command, you name it, we cover it all. I know you've given it all, guys and ladies. You've given it all. That's important in the 7 last weeks you've been here. I know you've given it all as you go to serve your communities. Thank you for your service, and once again, congratulations to each of you. You're going to experience something that happened during your lifetime on April the 2nd in the afternoon as a swiftwater crew trained at a local YMCA. Ethan Selena, a 7-year-old young man, was swimming in the swimming pool. He became unresponsive with just not breathing in a local YMCA pool. The Mississippi State Fire Academy instructors that were on site were conducting a swim test and were alerted by a lifeguard whistle. The State Fire Academy instructors began immediately giving treatment which saved this young person's life. Today, I'd like to recognize, and this is the proper venue to do it, Jason Watkins, Adam Denson, Lane Puckett, and Josh Clark for their efforts in saving this young man. We have 2 other instructors who are not here today, Ross Cook and Russell McClure. But today, I want to say to Adam, who happens to be a paramedic, in addition to the other 3 who happen to be emergency medical responders, and we do train emergency medical responders here, as all of y'all know now. I'd like for them to come forward, and we'd like to give you a little reward for what you've done. And folks, please make these guys welcome for saving a life of someone that they hardly knew. This is our mission, and this is what we do on a daily basis as Fire Academy graduates. Thank you. this is really a tribute to guys that give their life on a daily basis to save folks they hardly know. Thank you for your recognition of these fellows. Thank you again. Please be seated. This time I would like to ask Director Terry Wages to come forward.
Such an awesome thing to recognize that and to have that happen this past week. As you noticed, Instructor McCullough and Instructor Cook came in. They were at the back. They did come on up. We'll make sure everybody knew that's who that was that came up to recognize them. There was a large group there that day. A couple of other people. The instructor chief, I think, was there. He's in the back, Nick Reagan. I want to say a couple of more that were there that day. But I got a phone call about that, and to hear that come, when they were talking to me about it over the phone, I just couldn't believe it. So I started texting immediately and, found out the details. And it was just, as Adam says, right place, right time thing. It was amazing. So the graduations here are fairly scripted, but it's always good to make one unique and do some different things to kind of fold in the entirety of the State Fire Service as we go through these ceremonies. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and get started with our recognition of and welcome for being here today for this graduation of Class 202. These young men and women have faced tremendous challenges over the last 7 weeks. Most importantly, they've developed a bond and new understanding of teamwork, something they'll carry with them back to the departments when they leave here. As a team, they've risen to all the challenges that have been placed in front of them, and as they return to their individual departments, they will overcome those challenges as a team with their department. Class 202 represents an evolution in fire service training for our state, incorporating new technologies, new learning methods. The reward for these young men and women entering into this great profession is firefighting is considered one of the most prestigious professions in the country, one of honor, integrity, sacrifice, most of all, courage. Firefighter is considered this because of everything they have to do, and we'll talk about that as we go on through this ceremony today and touch on that a little bit because there's some events going on across the state that's going to help our fire service as a whole. So part of that is their participation, not only in the firefighting efforts, but what we do to support that throughout the state. Our speaker today will touch on that. But first, let's recognize that these firefighters come from us from all across the state, from the north half of the state, Batesville Fire Department. Clarksdale Fire Department. North Tunica Fire Department. Oxford Fire Department. South Haven Fire Department. Tupelo Fire Department. From the central part of the state, Flowood Fire Department. Forest Fire Department. Gladstadt Fire Department. Jackson Fire Department. And Reservoir Fire Department. From the south part of the state, Jackson County Fire Department. Pass Christian Fire Department. And Picayune Fire Department. One more round of applause. Now, as we go through the ceremony today, you'll hear us talk about motivation, encouragement, continuing to learn. But this, just take a minute. Like I said, most of this is scripted, but I want to get a little bit off that this morning for several reasons. But to talk about, we know we have to train and become prepared to deliver what we have to do to protect our communities. I was reading about a week or two ago, and I come across a passage that I knew that is how I think, but I never had it said in a way that made me realize that's how I think. So I said, well, I'm going to bring that up this morning. So it was talking about there's two different methods of how people think and approach things, challenges, not just training, but all sorts of challenges in the life. And they approach them in two different ways, and they don't even know they're doing it. First, we ask, can we? Can I? That's the first thing we do. That's normal, right? But to be a firefighter and to be able to come up with the options and the training and the motivation to continue to learn throughout your career, we have to get a mindset of how can I, not can I. Because when you have that mindset, you've already succeeded in half the battle, because you're not questioning can I, you're asking how can I. So you're coming up with options. And the reason I think that's important today is part of firefighting is about options, because there's no set script when you roll up on the scene. As Commissioner Cheney said, there's so many different emergencies and situations we respond to on a daily basis that when you get off the truck, you make decisions then. It's about preparedness, how we prepare and develop our skills. So I encourage you, as you go back to your department, develop that mindset of how can I. If you do that, you will start to come up with options and not just settle on can I, yes or no, and it stops right there. So take that. That's something I learned from, and I've been developing myself, and I read a lot of self-improvement books throughout my years, but I continue to learn something every time I read one. I realize that applied to my mindset, but I didn't even know it. So this is good that we bring this today. So maybe throughout your career, if you want to be successful in this profession and grow in this profession, develop a how can I mindset. Okay? We welcome you as the newest members of our Mississippi Fire Service as we continue through the program. Thank you all, and we'll move forward with our introduction of Instructor Chief Marcus Collier.
Thank you, Director Wages. Once again, welcome to the Fire Academy today. We're really thankful on this dreary day that you came out to support each one of these individuals that are down here today on their accomplishments. Mississippi State Fire Academy has 28 full-time instructional staff members, and those staff members are distributed among 4 instructional bureaus. Some of the guys that you saw up here just a second ago in the blue suits, they're in the Special Operations Bureau. The head of that bureau is Instructor Chief Nick Reagan. Also, another bureau we have is the EMS Bureau. That's headed up by Instructor Chief Rob Fisher. And we also have the Extension Services Bureau. That's headed up by Instructor Chief Shannon Sandridge. I don't know if he's in here. Chief Sandridge, you in here this morning? So no, Chief Reagan walked out a second ago. I was going to recognize those guys. The certification staff members, Certification Bureau is the primary bureau that's been charged with delivering the training to your loved ones over the last few weeks. And at this point in time, I'd like to introduce some of those members to you. We have several out today. We also have another 1001 class on campus. So one of our instructional staff members is in the classroom with the other class. So I'm going to recognize the ones over here to my left. Starting on the front row, Advanced Instructor Will Cockey. Some of you probably heard some of these names over the last 7 weeks, so be able to put a face with the name, so to speak. Senior Instructor Sean Sinclair. Instructor Sinclair is also coordinating the other class, Class 203, so he's going to have his hands full over the course of the next 7 weeks. Advanced Instructor Durfee Burns. Before I get to the back or to the stage here, I want to make sure that I recognize our administrative assistant, Miss Rebecca Cahoon. On stage to my left, Staff Instructor Josh Clark. And Staff Instructor and co-coordinator of Basic Class 202, Lane Putt. Also, let me see if I can clean up here. So Instructor Barry Burnside, Advanced Instructor Barry Burnside, he's in the classroom teaching fire behavior. And we have Instructor William Thorpe. He's not with us today. He's out today. And we also have Advanced Instructor Chris Carrera, who was unable to attend today. So, like I said, you've probably heard those names over the last few weeks. And I just want to say thank you to your time and devotion that each one of you put into this class. This is Instructor Putt. He's relatively new to the Fire Academy. He's just getting his feet wet. This was actually his first class to actually be part of the coordination process. So I know I look forward to many more down the road. So it's been a lot to learn over the course of the last few weeks. And it's going to take probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 or 10 of these probably till he gets comfortable with it. But you've done a great job, and I want to thank you for that. So, all right, so 202. I told you guys yesterday when I stood up here and we were walking through the graduation that I didn't have anything. And I think he thought I was joking. But it's not a joke. So this morning, I don't have anything. I don't have anything further to say to you that I have not already said. I think I've expressed my gratitude and what an honor it is for us as instructional staff members not to only be a part of teaching you some of the basics of firefighting, but for me, it's just, and I know it's the same for all of these instructors, what an honor it is to be a part of a small fragment of your life. And it truly is. So I want to focus primarily the next few seconds on you. That's what everybody's here today to do, is to celebrate this occasion with you and to honor you as you come into this career. It's not my intention to leave anybody out, but it's just popped in my mind a couple of things. First and foremost, as Commissioner Cheney said, every one of you is to be applauded. Every one of you. We talked about struggles yesterday, and we talked about going through struggles. And, you know, as I sat here and thought about the class overall and what I know of you guys, you know, you already know about struggle, and you already know how to overcome. We've got people in this class. Jamie, you and Catchings, y'all stand up. Jamie Gibson, Ricardo Catchings, these two guys are from Jackson Fire Department. They've already been through this program one time, went all the way to the end and weren't successful. But they didn't give up. Just like Director Wages alluded to, it's how can I? It didn't work the first time. How can I make it work this time? So I just want to congratulate you guys. And I've already expressed that to you, but publicly, congratulations. I know Chief Horn, I don't know, I didn't see him come in. I don't know if he's in here anywhere, but I know he's glad to have you guys through the academy. So thank you. You can be seated. Another thing that I thought about was, you know, there's a lot of second-generation firefighters in this group right here. If you're a second-generation firefighter or a third-generation firefighter, I want to recognize you at this time. So if you're a second-generation firefighter or a third-generation firefighter, please stand. If you're the father or grandfather of one of these individuals standing and you're in the audience, would you please stand? Thank you. So let's see, from the Tupelo Fire Department, we've got Weathersby. I just went blank. Keegan Weathersby. We've got from the Gluckstadt Fire Department, Meeks. Give me your first name. Huh? Ashton. Hey, I'm going off the cuff here, so forgive me. On the front row, we have from the Forest Fire Department, Jared Seeney. On the back row, right here in the center, we got Picayune Fire Department, Jackson Lassette. Back row to my right is Jerian. Give it to me. Gardner, Jerion Gardner from North Tunica Fire Department. And then also our third generation firefighter is Asa Moore with the Batesville Fire Department. So again, I apologize about the names. I'm usually a little bit better on names, but if everybody would have a seat with the exception of Jerry. So Sini, just want to recognize the fact that both his father and his mother are volunteer firefighters for 35 years. And when you talk about going through a struggle, so Jared lost his mother the second week that he was here. And talked to him, asked him if he needed to go home or wanted to go home. And he said his mom told him she wanted him to finish. And he finished. So if you're going to talk about overcoming struggles, I think a lot of these young men and women have already illustrated that. On behalf of the instructional staff, thank you. Go out there and be the best you can be and have fun doing so. God bless.
I don't remember them saying I'd have to watch a man take his last breath with his wife and daughter at his chest, or to see a family's home go up in flames, knowing they just lost everything. But we've got to know we did our best. Go on and don't worry about the past. Try to make a difference in this crazy world today, 'cause you know God made us that way. I never thought I'd see the terror in a mother's eyes as she watched her 15-year-old die, or to feel the fire slap me in the face as it moves through this house at a steady pace. But we've got to know we did our best. Go on, don't worry about the past. Try to make a difference in this crazy world today, 'cause you know God made us that way. And I hope to God I never have to see a brother fall in battle at a fire we can't defeat. We've got to know we did our best. Go on and don't worry about the past. Try to make a difference in this crazy world today. 'Cause you know God made us that way. You know God made firefighters that way.
That song that you heard there playing at the end of that video was written and composed by Chief Shannon Sandridge of the Extension Services Bureau back when he was going through the academy years ago. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Lane Putt, co-coordinator of Basic Class 202.
Welcome. Thank y'all for coming to support Class 202. Everyone that's in this audience they're here for one of y'all. And I can say for each one of you in the audience, you have someone sitting on these front two rows that you can be proud of. They've weathered the storm, so to speak. It's been a long 7 weeks for some of them. I feel like they've seen every inch of this campus. They've done a push-up or two along the way. Most of the time, at least half the class would come out with a smile somehow. I don't know how, but at the end of it, they were smiling. They never gave up. They always gave their hardest, no matter what. Personally, I've been here, like I said, I haven't been here real long. I've been here a year, and I've seen 6 classes. This is my first class to coordinate, and I haven't seen as many people that are in this class that gave it all they had like they did. And this group gave it all they had every time, no matter what. So like I said, I've told y'all time after time, I'm proud of you. I couldn't mean it anymore. I'm proud of every one of you. Y'all have all done a great job. Not only is the physical part of this class hard, they have many, many tests that they take throughout the 7 weeks that they're here, and they have to pass them. They have to have a passing average to complete it. So not only have they gave it all in the running and all the physical and the firefighting and everything down the hill, but they gave it all in the books. Everyone's here, and they all had really good averages. They may not have started out that great, but they rallied. They came together, and they did really well. So once again, you have someone to be extremely proud of, and thank you for coming to celebrate them. I have a few in this class that I want to give an award to because they went above and beyond, and they did a little bit more than what was asked. So highest GPA, we'll start there. Leif Rushing. Leif Rushing from Clarksdale. Watch your step, buddy. Now this one, our most physically fit. Like I just said, everyone in this class, no matter what your times were, y'all all put out. You gave everything that you had, and we couldn't ask for anything more than that. But there was one person that nobody could keep up with. And when I say nobody, I'm gonna throw myself in there as well. Matt Browning, Tupelo. This last award is called Making a Difference Award. Making a Difference Award is a person that obviously makes a difference everywhere they go, but always has a smile on their face. I feel confident anywhere this person goes, they're going to bring everyone else up. I could say a lot more about that, but Jordan McClendon. Y'all watch your step. Now, as y'all can see, there's a class flag over here. This class flag was given out when this whole group became one, and it wasn't given out until that happened. They all worked together. They earned this flag. And when I say they earned it, they earned this flag.
On behalf of Class 202, we would like to give this flag back to the State Fire Academy.
I'd like to present the class speaker, Asa Moore.
Good morning. We'd like to thank you all for being here today. It is an honor and a privilege to be standing before you to represent my classmates. First off, we'd like to start by thanking the State Fire Academy staff that have worked tirelessly over the past 7 weeks to provide us with an environment that is very conducive for learning and growth. We'd also like to thank the instructors for their time and effort they have dedicated to us in this period of time. We would especially like to thank Instructor Lane Putt. As we are his first class he has coordinated, we hope we've made you proud. Please give him a round of applause. Secondly, we would like to thank our chiefs and our departments for your continued support and dedication throughout this program. You have provided us with every opportunity to be successful, and it is greatly appreciated. And lastly, and most importantly, we would like to thank our families. We know these past 7 weeks have not only been hard on us, but have been especially hard on you. We understand that y'all are probably more excited about today than we are, as your loved ones are returning home to resume normal life. While the fire service requires a lot of time away from family in general, these past 7 weeks have been no exception and especially challenging. So thank you very much for your support. Without you, we could not do what we do. On February the 27th, we started this program as a large number of individuals. Sitting before you today, we are 23 members of a team. That was not an easy task to accomplish. The first couple of weeks were both mentally and physically exhausting, mostly due to our lack of teamwork. After many push-ups, jump lunges, and 3-count side straddle hops, occasionally to the tune of 202, thank you, Instructor Collier, we learned the importance of working as a team. This program has laid the foundation for our careers. The instructors have instilled values, knowledge, and skills that are required by this job to be effective servants of our communities. While we have learned the proper ways to hoist a pike pole, the correct utilization of a piercing nozzle, and many other essential firefighting skills, one of the most important things the instructors have impressed upon us is that our training does not stop here, but rather it has just begun. The modern fire service is evolving more rapidly than ever before. We are constantly being challenged as a profession to find new and innovative ways to efficiently and effectively perform our duties. We recognize that it is imperative that we seek out purpose-built training to remain vigilant and prepared to face these arising challenges, because the fears we do not face become our limits. As we turn the page on these last 7 weeks, I would like to leave my classmates and I with these 2 challenges. First, I'm challenging us to always maintain a sense of urgency. It matters that we turn out fast. It matters that we move with purpose when performing urgent tasks. And it matters that we maintain a high level of proficiency on the fire ground, as there are no second attempts in the real world. Secondly, and lastly, I would challenge us to realize that aggressive interior firefighting is the gospel to the modern fire service, and that we should always put the citizens and the people that we serve in our communities above ourselves, because without them, we serve no purpose. On behalf of Class 202, thank you very much, and may God bless you all.
Thank you. That was great. Before we move forward, I want to introduce some other folks on our stage that helps us not only at the Fire Academy, at the Fire Service statewide. First off, at the far left here, we have our Senior Instructor Advanced, Matt Hinkle, who is also our Operations Officer for the Fire Academy, and he does everything, literally. So secondly, just past our guest speaker is our Deputy Director of Instructional Services, Daniel Cross, who oversees the instruction out here to make sure all these courses get completed, because besides for this course, we have about 120 more. So, and then lastly, I want to go back to our 2 new instructors on the stage. As Instructor Putt said, I think he's been here about a year. Instructor Clark, 3-4 months. So you're going to hear the Mississippi Fire Academy is the best fire academy in the world, and this is one reason. The instructors out here are thrown into the deep end quick. As we talked about development, this is what it looks like. This is where you're going. So take that back with you and think about that. These guys will develop themselves for years to come. Many classes out here training firefighters all over the state, including reaching out and helping with everything that goes on outside of training, which is a tremendous amount. Also on campus, we have roughly 40 other staff members, 35 I believe it is total, that support the training out here. We always want to recognize them, because without them, we would not get anything done. So moving forward, I want to start our introduction of our guest speaker. He joined the fire service in 1991 as a volunteer firefighter for Langford Fire Department. He went on to serve at the Mississippi Forestry Commission and the Reservoir Fire Department. He left these gates as a 1001 graduate in October of 1994. Eventually, he started a company that provides IT and cybersecurity services for critical infrastructure organizations such as emergency management agencies and even here at the Fire Academy. He currently serves as a fire chief for Langford Fire Department in Rankin County. Under his tenure, Langford has tripled its active membership and is recognized for having a slate of professional firefighters, medical staff, and leadership among its ranks. He also serves as the president of the InfoGuard Mississippi Members Alliance and works with the FBI, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, many critical infrastructure organizations statewide to protect our assets and interests. Please join me in welcoming Fire Chief Shane Adams.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry, for that introduction. Hopefully I can do something to live up to the expectations that he's already set. So I stand here before you as a humble volunteer fire chief. I've been through graduations here before, and the best of the best has been up here. So I'm not sure why I was asked to be here, and I say, why am I here? And we'll get to why I'm here in just a minute. One of the things I do want to recognize is Commissioner Cheney. I didn't realize you were going to be here when I was developing my topic. And one of the things that's going on in the legislation right now is the LOSAT, or Length of Service Award Program. As a volunteer fire chief, I don't know if y'all know this, but 70% of the firefighting force in North America is volunteer. We're all volunteer. And we do it from our heart. And we're out here working and doing everything that we can do in the communities that don't have the tax base or whatever it takes to be able to provide a paycheck to their firefighters. And so we're out here doing this thing. And over the years, volunteerism has been just truly on the decline. And all the fire chiefs, I happen to be lucky. We've got a crew. Maybe it's where we're located. Maybe it's the opportunity that's around us. But we have a good crew that we work with. But all of my peers, other volunteer fire chiefs, they're suffering. People aren't showing up. They're not showing up to do the work. And thank you for putting together the Length of Service Award program. It's called LOSAP. That's going to give us the tools that we need to help make some recognition of volunteers and what we need to be able to recruit and retain volunteers. So thank you. So why am I here? So a little bit of my story, and Daniel's told me to stop putting years behind things, so I won't say any more years now. When I will say I was 17. When I was in high school, I was going down Highway 80, and I was turning into the Burger King, first day of school, and a lady pulled out in front of me, and what she didn't see was there was a car going full speed beside me, and she was in an old antique fixed-up car, and he T-boned her. She was ejected from the car, and I was standing there, 17, senior in high school, and I just watched her die. There was nothing I could do. It was the most heartbreaking moment of anything that had ever happened in my life. Her 4-year-old grandson was in the back. He was trapped between the back seat and the front seat. And, Brandon Fire Department, which was all volunteer then, rolled up. And one of my friends from school got out, and he was a volunteer, and he helped get him extricated and helped get her packaged up and dealt with the situation. But I vowed at that point that I would never let that happen again. I'd never wanted to stand there helpless and couldn't do anything. I pulled out of my neighborhood, and there was a big sign that went up, and it said "Future Home of Langford Volunteer Fire Department." They were raising money, and they were cleaning off the lot. There was nothing there. There was no fire station, no fire trucks or anything. So I pulled in and said, "What can I do to help? Will this solve my problem?" Sure enough, young 18-year-old, they pulled me on in, gave me some training. I was a firefighter at EMR, volunteer firefighter at EMR. Came out here, did some work at the academy, and did everything I could to be the best that I could be with what I had at that time. In November of '92, I got dropped off in the middle of what I would call a war zone, and that was the tornadoes that had come through Rankin County at the time. Many of y'all may remember that. Some of y'all may not remember that, but I got dropped off in Duncan Mobile Home Park right alongside Daniel. He was working on one side of the park, and I was working on the other. And amidst all of that chaos and all of that confusion and all of that death and destruction, I got stood in front of a home that was crushed on top of another home that was crushed on top of another home, and I helped dig down and rescue someone who was actually a coworker. Her pelvis was crushed, her femur was crushed. We helped rescue her, get her out, get her stabilized, and get her onto the hospital, and she lived many more years after that. We went back in and recovered the body of her mother-in-law, who wasn't so fortunate. At that point, I looked around and I said, why am I here? What am I doing? At least I had the skills and I had the knowledge and I had something. This time I wasn't helpless. I didn't stand there helpless. I thought that was the worst thing that I'd ever seen. And for many years, I've seen a lot of bad calls and a lot of bad incidents. A lot of things have gone on, but nothing had ever topped the November 1992 tornadoes in Rankin County until about 3 weeks ago on Highway 61 in Rolling Fork. Our fire department was deployed to Rolling Fork. We arrived about 3 hours after the tornado hit. We brought our team. We had EMTs. We had 6 EMTs. We had a UAV with thermal drones. UAV with thermal cameras. And we had a side-by-side, which ended up probably being the best thing we brought. And we had a comms officer, and we had people who were experienced in incident command. So as a volunteer fire department, that was a tremendous thing to bring to the fight. When we called up there, we had some relationships with the people who were there, that were on the ground, that were trying to bring the incident together. Told them what we had. We had some relationships there, and they said, please, come on. We rolled in, helped them set up incident command, helped them set up the incident command trailer. And even for a time, there was a trailer that was all Langford staff, and it was incident command. It was a short time, but it was a time. We helped check people in, and then the drone operator and myself, we went up the highway and we started working the grid, looking for survivors, anything recovery that needed to be done, and anything that we could do to help. Along the way, I saw this pretty fire truck sitting out there, and I said, man, that's a beautiful fire truck. We were out there amongst the best of the best, and it was the fire academy. And I stood in front of the fire truck with Daniel as they worked the drones, and I thought about, here we are 31 years later at a mobile home park in chaos and destruction, doing our job and doing what we do. So I asked myself again, why are we here? We came home Saturday. We hadn't had any sleep. Volunteers, we'd worked a whole full day Friday and then went up there Friday night, worked through the night, came back Saturday, got a good night's sleep that night. And got up Sunday morning in the state fire coordinator's office. Brad Smith's here. Their office was calling for a fire department. We were up there amongst all of these elite firefighters, but we didn't have a fire truck. And so they had an incident and they decided, let's bring in some other fire departments. So Langford Fire Department actually went back and took equipment up there, and we worked until Tuesday. So when I came home, I realized that I had absolutely replaced the worst thing that I'd ever seen in my life. And so prayers go out to the folks in Rolling Fork. But I'm truly humbled that as a volunteer, I had an opportunity to serve there with my team and do everything that we could do. But I keep saying, why am I here? And I don't know where Ross stepped out. When I was at Reservoir, it's Ross, Daniel, Shannon, and I can't tell you how many times we sat around the table or on the tailboard and asked, why are we here? And it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Maybe it was a good, positive conversation. Maybe it was a negative conversation. But y'all are going to have this conversation, or y'all are going to ask this question and say this phrase many times over your career. Why am I here? Why are we here? It may be some meeting about shift assignments that are changing and you thought everything was okay and you don't really agree with it. It may be about something that B shift did or something C shift didn't do. Am I right? About what t-shirt to wear, what t-shirt not to wear. And y'all are going to sit around and say, why are we here? You're going to be out checking a fire hydrant, the fire hydrant that you checked last year and the year before, and it worked fine the year before that. And you're going to say, you're out there in the hot baking sun and you're putting off more water than the fire hydrant's putting out. And you're going to say, why are we here? You're going to pull the jaws off every morning for 6 or 8 months or a year, and you're going to crank them up and they're going to run just the same as they did yesterday or the last shift. And you're going to sit there and say, why am I here? Have y'all experienced that yet? You know what I'm talking about? So, but then, you're going to get out there and you're going to get on some calls. And there's going to be a time you're going to wake up and you're going to get the call and you're going to roll out and, it's middle of the night and everything goes wrong. And you wake up, the sun comes up and it's just a burning heap of ashes. There's nothing left. And you're going to look around and you're going to look at the patch on your arm and you're going to say, why are we here? But then you're going to turn around and you're going to get a call, good daytime call, working structure fire, heavy smoke showing. You're going to arrive, you're going to bust in the door, head to the right, and you're going to put the fire out. You're going to find the seat of the fire and you're going to make a stop. And it's going, you're going to have just the kitchen and the little bit of the laundry room and the garage. And you're going to look around and you're going to see the family standing outside and you're going to see all their things are intact and that their life's going to keep moving and everything's going to be okay. And you're going to say, that's why I'm here. You're going to look out there and you're going to see that little hydrant, that was baking in the sunshine that was killing you the past 2 years, and it's steady pumping you water, and realize that it had a part of what you had, what your work was today. And you're going to say, well, that's why I'm here. We made a good thing. We did a good thing. You'll stand out there in a mobile home park and a lady's going to hand you her baby, and without question, so that she can sift through what's left of her home. Really, all of her belongings are scattered down the street and they're all across the field. And she's just going to pick up anything that she can and get it put into a bucket, whatever's left of her life. And you're going to hand her a baby back. You're going to give her a hug and you're going to send her off to the shelter. And you're going to know that's why we're here. You're going to have, at some point, you're going to have a mother that sits patiently and watches you use those jaws to extricate the lifeless body of her son out of the mangled wreckage of that car. And you're going to do it with humility. You're going to do it with precision and perfection, just so that she can touch his hand for the last time and start her life over in her journey to recovery. You won't ask at that point why you're here. You'll know. It's going to be galvanized on your soul forever. You'll absolutely know why you're here. So over the last 7 weeks, you came in the gates in February and you probably had some energy. You had a will to serve. You wanted to help. Hopefully you had a good pair of running shoes. But over the past 7 weeks, you prepared your bodies and minds with a pile of skills that are going to serve you, your family, and the community that sent you here. When you walked in here today under that flag, you represent the best of our spirit. When those tones drop, you're the fixer of things that need to be fixed, whatever that is. Whether it's a child that's that's fallen into a pool and you happen to be training, or whether it's some ducks that are caught in a drain somewhere at a grocery store parking lot. You're called to fix it. It's you. It's on you. But I can promise you, when you come off that truck, hopefully with 3 points of contact, just know that everybody that's standing around is saying, oh, thank God the fire department's here. That's you. Ask yourself, why am I here? The injured, the entrapped, when they hear you roll up, just know that they just got hope because the fire department's here. So make sure you ask yourself, why am I here? The helpless are going to have help. When you roll off that truck, ask yourself, why am I here? So today, we celebrate you and we celebrate all that you walk among us. Congratulations on all that you've accomplished, because that's why we're here.
So guys, I think y'all, and ladies, I think y'all understand why you're really here. You know, God has a purpose for you on earth. Life's not accidental. It's there's a purpose. What I'm asking you to do as an audience and as fire chiefs that are in the back of the room and as graduates to be in a few minutes is to remember that we have to recruit and encourage people to be volunteer firefighters. And that's one of the reasons over the last decade and a half that we have worked tirelessly to try to provide benefits to volunteer firemen. These people risk their life every day. And I get called on the carpet by the state auditor for buying them $50 worth of lunch out of supervisor money. I've got that fixed. It sounds crazy, but that's part of what we do in government is try to fix problems that shouldn't be a problem. One of the guys that helped us do that is Brad Smith, our state fire coordinator, 82 fire coordinators in 82 counties. Brad, I want you to stand up. Brad has worked tirelessly along with Terry Wages and John Pope, who's not here, who's president of the State Fire Chiefs Association, to help us pass legislation that will take care of volunteers who have service. And guys, that includes you career guys. If you have service as volunteers and a lot of your chiefs let you volunteer on the weekend, you'll get credit for that service too. And hopefully when you retire, we can give you something for what you've done for your community and your state. Thank y'all for being here today. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Brad, and thank you, Terry and Daniel and Shane.
Like I said at the beginning, it's one thing about the graduation to be scripted and formal, and we appreciate that, but I like uniqueness to something that you can remember. I look back, I graduated here 32 years ago in the cafeteria across the way because the auditorium wasn't here. And I would have given anything to have that tape of that graduation to look back on to this day. So that being said, this is, most of you know, this is being taped, live streamed, and it will be available on YouTube, Facebook, through a post that you can watch it and keep it, hopefully to share with your kids, grandkids as you go out through your career. So with that being said, before we move on with our commencement and awarding the diplomas, like I said, I like being unique. So all the first generation firefighters that are represented here today that stood up, we're going to allow you to give these second generation firefighters their diploma. So would y'all all come to the stage? We'll be a little crowded, but we'll make it work.
Oh, yeah. They're right there on the table.
Yeah,
Cut! 202! Prepare for roll call! 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 23, 24, 26, 28, 5, 202, all brackets together, 4, 7!
Asa Moore. Taylor Tudor. Leif Rushing. Cooper Clark. Ricardo Johnson. Gage Seeney. Ashton Meeks. Miranda Busby. Kara Hernandez. Ricardo Catchings. Jamie Gibson. Kadarius Williams. Jerrion Gardner. Shane Arbuckle. Jordan McClendon. Marcos Chacon. Jackson Lissette. Miles Holly. Patrick Mastro. Eli Rushing. Keegan Weathersby. Matt Browning. Hold up, Matt. And O'Sheen Howard.
Good. That's it. Good. All right, the part we all been waiting for. By the authority granted from the state of Mississippi, and by the powers vested in Mississippi State Fire Academy, we proclaim Class 202 our newest Mississippi firefighters. That concludes our ceremony today. We do have refreshments out front, and please stay as long as you need to get pictures in front of the fire truck out front. Safe drive home. God bless you all.